Oh, and there's, look at this. Look up in the corner. Whenever I attack, Barbie swings a sword. That's very cool. Minor note, I know the AI does this. It's annoying. You're just gonna have to ask it to like stretch out one of the animations. Because the swinging sword looks very skinny compared to the walking one. So either make one of them thinner or one of them wider. Your call. It's a minor note though. So this is great. The reason I suggested this yesterday is when you tapped originally, it would just a number would pop up, but nothing happened. The thing about a clicker game is that they're so simple that the act of clicking really has to resonate. It really has to land with the player, and now it does. This feels very good. I like this a lot. The bounce effect is great. So that's good. The other thing we talked about was simplifying the menu a little bit. And I remember saying specifically, I said, Erica, make everything pink. This whole menu needs to be more pink. So I'm glad you've also taken that advice. That's good. But what I do see is much simpler layout. Here's my take. I'm going to give you some thoughts, but I'm going to also tell you to ignore them. If this were my game, I would kind of feel like this might still be too much. But the reason I'm telling you to ignore it is because I know you're making a clicker game, and a lot of clicker games do have a lot of menu action going on. I think you're better. I think you've done a really good job of minimizing it. This looks way better than it did. It's less overwhelming. I still feel like this is a little dense. Zombie Barbie Elite, level 3, 2 bars, all this. Like this specifically, I might simplify, but I think the rest of it, you've gotten in a good place. And so the reason I say to ignore my feedback for now is I think you should focus on the other stuff that I'm going to keep doing some clicking. Focus on other stuff that you care about. Publish the game, and then if you're looking for a way to improve things, if you need to, this is assuming the game doesn't perform the way you want, one thought might be to like radically simplify the interface, but I wouldn't worry about that now. I'd save that, keep that in your back pocket in case you ever need some opportunities to improve the game. But at this point, I think you've gotten it good enough where I'd probably just run with it the way it is. I said, though, this
keep attacking the boss, because I did what you recommended by unlocking stuff, so keep attacking the mini boss. Sure. Sorry, I'm still listening.
So the menu at the bottom, does it scroll down? Because I noticed that there's stuff at the bottom of the screen. It's okay.
Yeah, it did, but did this freeze? Look at that.
It froze? It's weird.
It's not frozen because let me just restart it. I'll get there more quickly.
I think it goes back. Let me go back. Maybe when I did a change, it froze.
But yeah, anyway, that was a long detour about the interface. Overall, I think this is looking really good. I like the moving character up in the corner. The clicking feels good. You've got everything nicely centered. The background is really cool. So that's all great. Oh yeah, so I love the treasure chest. That's awesome. I'll take this.
Now you got the gear tab in the shop. So I put everything to open up more slowly, so you unlock things progressively after like a certain amount of monsters.
That's awesome. Okay. Again, I think if someone chooses to go to this tab, I think it's fine. I don't know how I feel about after my first boss, I'm thrown on this menu, because again, it's really complicated. I think it's great for people who want to use this kind of stuff. Also, just maybe something to think about. I don't know if it's something you really need to worry about changing, but it might be that someone likes the game, they like the clicking, but then this pops up after the first boss. I'm like, wow, this is detail. But again, it's just something to think about. Whoops, resume game. Okay, cool. Yeah, just an idea to consider.
Maybe we just notify them about it instead.
Maybe something like that. Yeah, because I think the way you can have it both ways is you can make a casual game where if you don't bother with the menus, you get a kind of a decent usable path to follow. But then the people that do bother with the menu, then you don't have to worry about how complicated it is because they choose to use the menu. So as long as the default is reasonable and people don't have like an urgent need to go into the menus, then you can kind of give both players what they want. The casual player just clicks through it. They don't think about it. The hardcore player will take the opportunity to dive into your menu and, inspect all the details. That's usually my approach. It's kind of a nice way to just make sure you're not leaving anybody out. But it's still something that maybe you save that for after publishing to see if people have an issue. Or actually, I take it back. You should save that for more playtesting. Someone else should play this game, get a couple other opinions, and see if other people also point out that the menu is overwhelming. And if they don't, then maybe don't worry about it. This is great. I love the treasure chest. I like the way that I'm getting rewards. The other thing, though, is, you know what? Even if I want this menu, I don't necessarily want to lose my flow because I was here clicking, I'm having a good time. So it could also be that maybe just an arrow pops up here and says your items are available if you want, and then that's it. And I get back to it if I don't feel like doing it. Because I'm that kind of player. So it's my personality. That's why you shouldn't base it all on one opinion. But I'm the kind of player who just wants a straight line through the game. Don't slow down, don't lose momentum. Other people are different.
Yeah, the only thing I need to fix is that tab to attack is hiding the HP and MP. Seems like the overlay.
Yeah, but also it's like I feel like this is the one thing where I'd probably say there could be less going on. Like for instance, you've got HP and MP. What are these bars?
Those are the HP and MP bars. Maybe I just have that in the bar itself.
Yeah, exactly. So if you really want the numbers, and I would argue you don't really have to have the numbers, but if you want them, I'd say put them inside the bar and then put HP and MP next to the bar. Because the irony is you have all this text, but I actually don't know what these bars are because they're like the one thing that's not labeled. So I would combine this. And then, maybe Warp Doll Boss, and then on the same line, LV7 or something, maybe. Like, it just seems like also, you've got so many great visuals. I don't know if you need emojis on top of that, because you've already got the boss, the background, all this great stuff. So one idea is combine level and boss name or enemy name, get rid of the emojis, label these bars so you can get rid of this text, and if you really want the numbers, put them inside the bars. That alone, I think, would be a big improvement, and you wouldn't really lose anything.
Do you feel like the game is too easy? Do I need to make it a little harder, or what do you think?
I mean, it's a clicker game. Clicker games are kind of famous for being sort of too easy. That's kind of the fun of them. So to me, and I know I say this a lot, I preface it as my opinion. My opinion is don't make it any harder necessarily, but add more to it. So, which I think you're already kind of doing. So in other words, my core gameplay is dead simple. I just click, I click, I click, I click. But like the question really is, how do you hold someone's attention? And there's kind of two ways to think about it. One is you hold it with a challenge. The harder something is, the more someone gets fixated on it. The problem is clickers are so unchallenging that it's kind of weird to throw a challenge in there. You might as well just make a more traditional game at that point. The other way to hold someone's attention is constant variety. Like I'm unlocking stuff, there's new enemies. Maybe this background changes every so often. That's probably one of the favorite things you could change to keep me interested. But you've already got a lot of it going. I'm getting upgrades. You're giving me new enemies to fight. So you're pretty close. I would just focus on that kind of thing. But given how much you've got, you don't necessarily need more stuff. It might just be the way it's presented could be clearer. Like again, the irony is because this menu screen is so detailed, I kind of just gloss over it and get back to the game. Whereas if you just said the treasure chest opens, which you're already kind of doing, treasure chest opens, pick something, maybe show it with sparkles around it, and then get back to the game. I feel like that would be a really good flow for me to get into. I'm fighting, I'm getting rewards, I'm fighting, I'm getting rewards, and that loop repeats.
Maybe instead of having a whole gear tab, I just have it as part of an upgrade tab where people just go into and scroll and just do the upgrades, so it's simplified.
Exactly. I think for a game like this, I mean, it's a clicker. The whole point of the game is to be simple. Anything you can do to simplify things, I think, is going to be a win generally. And then, yeah, like I said, the last thing is this background. I think could just cycle a little bit. Maybe every 5 enemies, or maybe there's a progression. Like there's kind of a storyline of where I'm going, and the background changes. It could be anything like that. But I think it's the last thing. I'm assuming this doesn't change. I haven't seen it change yet. So if that's true, then I would find some opportunities to mix that up, and then you've kind of got it all. But yeah, I think you've done a really good job of taking the feedback from yesterday, so keep it up.
Thank you.
And good luck with the human experimentation.
Oh, you're so kind. Thanks.
All right, cool. Thanks, Erica. That was great. Speaking of Erica, it looks like Be Little might be the new Erica. New game every day. Be Little is just in productivity hyperdrive. Although, ironically, despite all that, oh wait, no, I was going to say ironically, Be Little is not here, but I just noticed. I noticed the I noticed the avatar. All right, let's check out Astro Minor from Be Little. Sorry, Be Little. I didn't mean to belittle you. I know you're here. Okay, we've got a 3D cube. I'm assuming, I'm just going to guess, I never played this before, that when I click these, it will be in some way destroyed or cleared. Ooh, that actually caught me off guard. I was kind of right, but not really. It's like what's funny is I feel, it says pistol, so I guess I'm shooting down at this, but it kind of feels like it's like acid dropping on it or something. All right, so this is, it's funny, we were just playing Erica's clicker game. This is also kind of a species of clicker. Although, wait, I just realized, oh, there's like a skill tree. Wow, cool. I'm not paying close attention, but this is really cool. So it's a clicker, but you with like the satisfaction of grinding through something. I don't know what that means. And you know, I'm skipping this menu because I just want to get back to the clicking. The clicking is really fun. I do have some feedback though that I once gave Erica for her Arcane Descent game. It applies here too. Just as someone who's just getting into this game, I have really no idea what my whole goal is other than making this block dissolve. I gotta say, I don't like how often I'm being interrupted because I love this. This is super fun. I want to do a lot of this, and I love the idea of upgrading. I love the idea of like getting more tools and opportunities to like blow up these cubes. But it's just, it feels so satisfying that when this thing popping up so often and resetting the cube is kind of bumming me out. I want the ability to like upgrade, and destroy the whole cube, and then I get a new cube, maybe in a new color. But like, I don't want to keep like, and this, by the way, this is great. This skill tree or whatever upgrade path, I'm not reading it, so I don't know what it says. It looks really cool, but I want the ability to like, how do I say this? I kind of like what I was saying for the last game. I don't want to lose my momentum. If I'm having fun with this, I'd prefer not to be interrupted, although I still want the benefits of an upgrade. So that's just something to think about. Let's see, I'm catching up on the chat. So then mine right blocks, then you get more ammo, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so there's a lot of ways to approach a game like this, and everyone's got different desires. If you're the kind of player that really likes upgrading, maybe you do want this constant, switch from playing to upgrading. I just know that, man, I really want to keep this momentum going. It feels very good. So I think what you've got here is a really good start, and I think it's incremental no matter what. I feel like I'm taking these incremental steps to like, put it together, but sort of disassemble the cube, which is great. But I really feel like when I get an upgrade, I don't want to lose my progress. If anything, it feels less incremental because I'm being reset so often. And it would be so satisfying to get to that last cube and see the whole thing get destroyed. And then maybe you see it get built back up as like a cool rebuilding transition or something, and you just keep grinding. So anyway, this is half kind of objective feedback maybe and half opinion. So put my opinion in the opinion category, but I would definitely love to have a version of this where I can just keep going, keep building momentum, and then incorporating the upgrades into the gameplay instead of it being like this heavy shift from one thought process to another. When you destroy the whole cube in one go, it changes. So what do you mean it changes as in the game actually recognizes that? Or do you mean it changes like it would be a different kind of game? What do you mean by that? Because I kind of hear what you're saying, but. Also, what is this up in the corner? This one. I should pay attention to these menus. I'm talking so much that I'm not reading anything on screen. Let me get through this and see if I can actually figure this game out like a real player. Okay, amount of blocks mined, level 0. Okay, so in other words, you're telling me that the amount of blocks I mined is part of my score. Okay, that makes sense. Ore gained, bar gained, total bar. Okay, so I'm gaining ore because I'm mining. Okay, that makes sense. So upgrade, mine. Now I get it. So upgrade means I perhaps spend the ore, or I spend something, or I go back to mining. So let's go back to mining. But wait a second. If I go back to mining, shouldn't I keep the ore? That part I don't get. Because I mine empty blocks. Yeah, no, that's fine. But I'm saying I got 1 ore in the previous one. 2. Okay, let's try upgrading then. All right. So, okay, I can do this, right? Oh, cool. I got a bunch of upgrades. All right, let's see. Okay, so now that I'm actually paying attention, I'm getting the game more. So the game more is the goal is to destroy as much as possible. Ooh, is this a bug? Ooh, I think I found a bug. Anyway, the purpose of the game is to mine as much as possible, and I need to pursue these upgrades because that's the way that I can mine more stuff. Right? Got it. Okay, so Here's what I still think. I don't know, man. If nothing else, maybe I wish the sessions were longer because it's just hard not to feel like this is really fun. And I think the upgrade stuff is cool too. The problem is just a very different style of thinking. So I go from this fun, fast action of clicking to like strategizing about upgrades. And some people love that. Some people are like me and they're like, man, you just took all the wind out of my sails. So I still think it'd be cool if there was a way to kind of have it both ways. But I think it's great. I think what you've got here is really good. And I think the only thing I would think about really is balance. Because it might just be a question of balance. Like maybe the play sessions are a little bit longer. Maybe I get a little bit more ore per session so I can upgrade a little bit more quickly. Something like that. That's the part that's just incremental. Yeah, but you'll notice I'm still playing, which means you've hooked me, even with my suggestions. Okay, I know, it's all in the upgrade tree. I get it. But you say that, but I'm telling you, there are players that are like me who, especially for kind of simple casual games, just have very little patience. Like they could get into your game, but you got to keep giving them the dopamine, as Monvy's always saying. So it's not that I'm right. You shouldn't necessarily change anything on my account. Just be aware that there are my kind of player out there. Oh, stop. We're all invited to play incremental games. All right, but great stuff. Really cool game. So next up is IQ Level Up. Mind Emerge, Evolution of Knowledge. Okay. Well, I'm excited to play something experimental. Let's see. Okay. Looks like I can merge these similar things. So this is kind of a merge game that is sort of like the story of human history. It's kind of cool. I'm assuming I can't combine these things. Okay. Let's see. So this must be, and I'm going to try to just figure this out on my own. When I play merge games, I'm normally looking for a way to like spawn new stuff, which I'm not really seeing here. Oh, wait a second. I saw -1. I didn't think I could do anything with this, but I guess I can. Okay, the -1 threw me off, but I think now I get it. Also, I know you just started this, so I'm nitpicking, but I told the same thing to, wait, was it Belittle? Was it the Desi merge game? This pop-up every time I merge makes the game kind of hard to play. Because I love this approach to merging. It's very novel, but ooh, those look really similar. But it's a little tough to play a game when you get these pop-ups so often. Yeah, that was my assumption. So yeah, maybe just a simple bug or something. The other thing I'm looking for, let's see, I've got this like kind of lightning bolt counter going down. I wonder though, do I have, so okay, so I'm not so much getting passive currency generation, but it looks like I earn currency from merging. Is that right? Okay, cool. So I guess the idea is to kind of evolve this all into something, right? That's kind of I made a lot of these, so I'm not sure why I made so many. But if that is, it's a cool idea. Here's one of the great things about merge games is they kind of play on our natural sense of curiosity. Like, what is the next level going to look like? What's the next merge going to unlock or whatever? And so it seems like this game in particular has like a lot of that kind of satisfaction because there's so many different things I'm merging, like all these different types of objects and plants and technology. So there's a lot for me to kind of explore. I think that's good. I see a lot of other stuff on the menu. I'm going to kind of mostly gloss over this, but maybe not. Let's see. Quests. First steps. Merge two items together. Okay, so first of all, I've done a lot of these, it looks like. Interesting. Create a tier 3 economy system. Wow. Okay. Okay, so here's what I'm gathering from these quests, and tell me if I'm getting, because I know you just started, so it's okay to maybe just kind of walk me through it. The whole game is not ready to playtest, I guess. It sounds like I merge things. I create things of like increasing sophistication, and then there's perhaps some way to arrange them where they kind of represent like an economy or some societal construct or institution. Is that right? Something like that? Sure. Yeah. Mhm. I see. I see. So in other words, uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. No, that's very cool. So in other words, though, am I right from what you're saying that the basic game mechanic is still just merging, but as you merge further and further, you sort of watch this kind of level of technology just naturally advance? Okay, that's cool. That's very cool. The other things, this is just kind of my armchair psychology, seems reasonable though. Is the two things that are fun about merge? Maybe there's three. Is one is like I said, curiosity. What am I going to get next? The other one is kind of like greed because it's just kind of cool. Ooh, do these not come? Can these not be merged? Uh, oh, I see. Okay. I thought the arrow was going to advance automatically, but it sounds like I've got to sort of reach some threshold before the arrow advances. Is that right? Got it. And then the things I'm merging are like representative of the next era. Got it. Okay, cool. Like I said, I think the psychology of these merge games is there's a sense of collection. I kind of want to own everything, which is, or greed, however you want to describe it. There's curiosity, which is what's going to come next. And with this era system, I can see a lot of potential for curiosity. But then the other one is kind of a sense of accomplishment because even though I'm not doing much, like I'm just merging, I still feel like I've done something cool here. Like it's just a really cool feeling to see these things combine in different forms. And so I think you give people this like easy ability to feel like they've done something they're kind of proud of. So anyway, I just lay all that out because I think for a game like this, you're laying into all of those things pretty heavily, which to me is exciting. Like I could see people getting really into this. So what's next? You said you just started an hour ago. What's your roadmap from here look like? Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think the simple answer there is start by making the game that you want, right? So I usually advise people, and I try to think this way myself, don't think about optimization too early. Focus on getting a game that you think is great, making sure that when you play test it, people like it, because otherwise there's no point in even trying to optimize the download time. But if you do get to the point where you like the game, people seem to like the game, you're excited to publish it, and you do your slow connection throttling test, and it turns out it takes 38 seconds to load, then that's really where you just start doing the standard stuff of saying everything is going to maybe have like a simple stand-in placeholder. If you have like a background image, of course, you don't even need a placeholder for that. That just loads whenever it loads. It doesn't affect the game. If it's for the stuff that people need in order to actually play the game, then it could be, I mean, the AI is usually pretty good at this. Sometimes it does it automatically, but it could be like little SVG shapes. It could be even just text with different colors or something. I know that sucks, but it means that somebody can at least get the game going while they're waiting. And then when it's ready, it becomes beautiful, right? So there's usually solutions. The biggest trade-off you'll have to make is accepting the fact that your game might look super janky for 10, 20 seconds on a slow connection. But I think it's usually a worthy trade-off if the alternative is nobody in certain parts of the world even plays the game. So it's definitely a significant issue, and you're right to worry about it, but I wouldn't worry about it yet. But this is great. I've become a huge fan of merge games, so I'm excited to see where this goes. Oh, really? This is all one prompt, huh? Wow, that's cool. Well, hey, maybe share it in the channel if you want to let other people see a glimpse into your process. But that's kind of cool. One prompt. It's an indication that Astrocade can do a lot. Like I still recommend lots of detail wishes to shape it exactly the way you want. But if you want to let Astrocade take the wheel, it's actually not bad. Very cool. Well, thanks for sharing. IQ level up. Next up is Airstrike Arsenal from Plankton Fun. Oh, look at that. Sorry, say that again. Mm. Okay, fair enough. I needed to stop for just a moment to share this very cool detail, make sure everyone saw it. Look at the loading bar on this game. Wait, now it's not loading. Hold on a second. Okay, check this out. It's a loading bar with a little bomb at the end. I think that's cool. Okay, wow. So we've got a fully 3D kind of air raid bombing kind of simulator, which is funny because it's kind of got like Lego toy colors. Like it's very cute, like child toy coloring, but it's like super violent. Wait, it actually, hold on a second. Is this actual Lego? I'm seeing dots on top of everything. Maybe it is. So I'm just clicking around for now to kind of see what's up. I'm also noticing there's like a scan line effect or something. Look at this. I don't know what I'm seeing there. I'm not sure if that's intentional. I think it is. Anyway, I will check the chat in a moment. I'm just going to play a little more, do a little more honest live play testing. I have different weapons. It looks like for now there's just bomb and cluster. Okay, so click that. Oh, cool. Okay, so I'm going to guess that the purpose is to like, blow something up, hit some kind of target. I'm going to go back to bomb. It looks like my destruction stays in the game between rounds. That's kind of cool. Okay, but let's see. So there's not really, from what I can see, much in the way of like an aiming kind of system. Although, I can really control this plane. This is very cool. I wonder if I can crash, just out of curiosity. Doesn't look like I can. That's okay. Not a flight simulator. It is a bombing simulator. So I'm assuming my job is to I'm assuming my job is to bomb buildings, I guess. I'm not seeing instructions or like objectives. I'm just going to guess. It's a little tricky to aim because I'm just judging by perspective. I don't really have like a crosshair or anything like that. I can see I've got like a radar up in the corner for a mini map kind of thing. That's cool. So I guess I can kind of use that to aim. Although it's funny is it's like I'm pointing up, but I seem like I'm going to the side. It's just a funny detail. And then it looks like I can toggle replay. Although I did just notice, minor note, when I click toggle replay, it also registers as a click to bomb. So that's a minor thing to check out. Anyway, okay, I'm going to try to bomb this blue building. Let's see. Am I above it? Oh, I was close, sort of. Okay, let's try it again. Blue building bombing. Ah, there we go. Okay, that is my little playtest session. Now let's check out the chat. Okay, so you mean, so in other words, you're saying you're talking about this game, right? Yeah, so you want like the draw distance issue? Like you're saying over the horizon, things pop up too late? Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm happy to share a prompt too, but I'll share some thoughts quickly off the top of my head. A couple things. One is even for relatively simple geometry like this, and in fact, I say simple, but assuming all these little black dots are separate objects, this is actually potentially pretty taxing. So I have some thoughts on that too. I'll share that in a second. But regardless of how complex or how simple it is, you're never going to have infinite draw distance, really. So there's two things. One is, yes, we can definitely expand this to show more upfront, but I would also consider using some fog or something. Fog is built into Three.js. You can just ask for fog, and it'll kind of blend the horizon into the sky color, so you don't see the sharp cutoff. So you can kind of do a balance of two things: extend how far into the horizon you can see, and then use a little bit of fog to kind of gracefully mediate the transition. But before I get to that, I want to share one other thought. So I don't know if you're doing this, but 3JS, and in fact, pretty much all 3D engines, there are things that they like and there are things that they don't like. And if you don't have any experience using 3JS, it may not be obvious what things it likes. But I can tell you one thing it really doesn't like is lots and lots and lots of different objects. So in other words, it's less about like polygons, like how many polygons something has. It's pretty good with that. It's more about how many separate objects you have. So even if every object in your scene is 2 polygons, which is very, very simple and very fast, if you have 1,000 of them, that's way slower than having one object with 2,000 polygons, even though it adds up to the same amount of polygons for the GPU to render. There's something about changing objects or managing separate objects that is just very, very slow and inefficient. And when I look at these kind of Lego rooftop things with the blue, oh, you can crash. That's cool. You can crash into buildings. When I look at all these black dots or all these blue dots, that could really be taxing the 3D engine and could also be an issue with draw distance, how much you can see over the horizon. So one thing I will definitely share, don't let me forget this, I will share a prompt that is about how to make all these little tiny dots more efficient. And the general idea, I'll share this, is, so actually Pika's not far off. Loading in chunks is kind of where I'm going with this, sort of. But it's more about you, so okay, let's pause, I think I paused it for a second, but look at any one of these roofs with all these dots. Notice that they're all the exact same color or material, right? If you have multiple objects that don't move at least independently of each other and that all have the same material, you can merge them into one object, even though they look separate. Your GPU will treat them all as one big object and it'll render them way faster. So for instance, I made the 3D basis of the game Grand Theft Astro that was big for a while. And if you play the game Astro Man, that's actually a remix of Grand Theft Astro. And when I first made that 3D city, it was rendering really, really slowly. And the way I made it much, much faster, and I think this is even in my 3D document that I shared a while ago, I made it much faster by saying everything that's the same material, all the grass, all the sidewalks, every building wall that's the same wall texture, do this merge combine trick. And so 3JS combined all of the same looking things into one material. It looked identical. There was no visual change, but it ran like 10 times faster, right? So the first thing I would suggest is you go through this game and you say, anytime I'm spawning one of these Lego roofs, I've got to make sure I merge all of those things, because on a slow phone, this game could be crawling for all we know, right? That's one problem. And then the draw distance one is kind of a separate matter, but it's gonna function much better if you're throwing fewer separate objects at the GPU. So once you've merged all these roof things, honestly, in natural language, you could probably just say increase the draw distance. You know, don't show me the distant scenery so late. And I would start there and see what it does. If that doesn't work, you can get more detailed, and then you can finish it off by adding a little bit of fog, so that this isn't, because even if it's up here, if it's near the top of the screen, you still don't want a sharp cutoff. That's not going to look good, right? With a little bit of fog, you can give that like a graceful blend into the sky. But how about this? Let me give you a few. So I'm gonna type this into the chat, and let's see if I can make sense of this in real time. And so I'm gonna make it clear. This applies only to objects that don't move relative to each other. So what I mean by relative to each other is, say the Lego bumps on top of the roofs, you can't move one of those bumps independently of the other, right? They all have to act as if they're one object, right? But that should be okay, because I don't think you want to work on these separately. So this applies only to objects that don't move relative to each other and have the same material, which for this game basically means the same color. Okay, then you say something like merge all Lego dots, you can change this language, on the roof of each building into a single geometry. So start with that. That alone will do a lot to speed things up and make it more efficient. Another one to consider is, now, by the way, I want to be careful about this. Because you can't move these things independently, it's tricky in a game like yours, because I know ultimately you want to blow up the building. And when you blow up the building, all the pieces do move independently. So one suggestion might be, when the building gets blown up, just immediately hide the Lego dots and just blow up the blocks. Because you still have a lot of blocks, that's still not great. But you don't need the Lego dots individually to get blown up. I mean, it'd be kind of cool if they did, but it's just going to be way too taxing on the GPU. I wouldn't bother with that. Another thought is, let me ask you this, Plankton Fun, because I haven't looked at your game in detail. are all of these buildings already made of separate blocks and then they just come apart? Or are they solid cubes and then when you blow them up, then you spawn all the blocks? The reason I ask is if they're all already separate blocks, that's going to be really heavy on the GPU. So if you're not already doing this, I would make sure all these buildings are just simple cubes. And then when they blow up, then you replace the simple cubes with an array of smaller blocks for the effect. Okay, perfect. So you're already doing it the right way. Good job. So then given that, I would say something like this to increase the draw distance, and try this out. If it doesn't work, let me know. This is at least in the right direction. In fact, you can just kind of say it. I'm being kind of redundant. Increase the draw distance so I can see further over the horizon instead of popping up new blocks of terrain so abruptly. So I would try that. That's not a very technical way to say it, but it actually might work, and it's good to start simple and see what works and what doesn't. And then lastly, to smooth out the horizon, add some fog. I know it sounds simple, but just saying add fog or add some fog usually works. The trick is then modifying it. So when you get the fog, it might be too much or too little, and then you can say, make the fog more faint, pull the fog in, push the fog out. You can then adjust it. But if you say add fog, you'll see the effect, and then you can get in the habit of tweaking it. You can also say, add fog parameters, density, opacity, distance, etc. to the game settings pane. So if you do that, it might actually add sliders to your game settings pane that you can use to just adjust fog manually without typing in wishes, which is really good for doing tweaking and parameter adjustment. So try all that stuff. Let me know how it goes. Just at me in the channel or DM me, and we can work on it from there. But really cool game. I mean, if you can get this working the way you want it, I think, oh, by the way, I've noticed the thumbnail has Legos in it. I totally missed that. Sorry. But if you can get that kind of where you want it, I think it's going to be awesome. Fun game idea. Okay, next up, this is a game presented by Pika-P, but from a different creator. Snake Rush 3D. Oh, cool. Another clever 3D game. A lot of 3D chickens lately. This is nice. This is a really cool use of 3D. Like this is the kind of 3D that Astrocade is good at. I know I'm not getting the chickens. I'm just exploring a little bit. This really is beautiful. Like the use of lighting and shadow and the kind of the dark gray grid backdrop and the trees, they all look pretty good. Like oftentimes when you get Astrocade, I don't know how this was done exactly, but when you get Astrocade to just generate 3D stuff for you, it looks kind of crappy. This is nice. I love these tree colors. Yeah, this is really cool. So let's see what happens if I eat a chicken or collide with a chicken. Okay, I collected the chicken as expected. Ooh, okay. This is a little bit less responsive than I'd like, though. I feel like it looks great and the concept is simple, but I feel like there's the slightest delay when I move that just bugs me slightly. Oh, and you know what? I need to maybe grab my charger. I hit 20% my laptop batteries. My frame rate dropped. That is not the game's fault. Do I die when I hit a tree, I wonder? Yes, I do. So by the way, this is just another note on optimization. Because so many of these tree segments use the same colors, and because they don't move, and this also goes to the tree trunks, this is another opportunity for the optimization I just shared with Plankton Fun, which is you can merge everything of the same color into one object. So even though you have a bunch of trees, the GPU thinks it's just all one big object, and it's just much, much faster. And it looks identical. The only trade-off is you couldn't say move one of the trees or have one of the trees blow up or something. So if you want to add that, this wouldn't work. But it's something to think about if they're going to remain static and you just want to optimize things a little bit. So this is like I said, it's really beautiful. I love the look of this game. My only real feedback so far is I just feel like it's a little bit sluggish, and it's not just because of the frame rate drop. It was like that before that happened. I just feel like it could be a little bit more nimble. And if I'm going to like weave around trees and do these kind of quick maneuvers, I want this to feel responsive. But oops, missed that guy. But it's funny, like it's trees and chickens. Like it's just got this quirky kind of look. Yeah, see that? Believe it or not, was not all skill. That was actually just weird delay on my side. Anyway, what I was going to say though is it's got this quirky kind of vibe that I really like. Looks good. It would play really nicely if it were just a little bit more nimble. And it's got a fun atmosphere, and it looks nicely made. It doesn't look like just a default kind of lazy ripoff that I've seen. It looks like someone put some real unique thought into this. And yes, thank you, Pika P, for sharing the document I was talking about. That will also mention the stuff I mentioned here. Try my wishes here first, just to be faster. And then when you have some time, at least skim that document. You might notice some little tricks that are not immediately apparent. Okay, so I don't believe this creator is here, but this is really nice. So Pika P, pass along my compliments. All right, so next up we've got Desi Wheels again from Be Little. This is a game we've gone over a couple times in Astro Academy. And I think yesterday's feedback was, my opinion, was that it felt like there was a lot of tutorial steps going on. Let's see what this is like now. Oh, look at this. We've gone from 7 steps to 0. So first of all, that's a huge improvement. Nice. Okay, and this was already fixed, but it came up in the other merge game. That pop-up only appears the first time, which I know everybody is planning on doing it that way, but if you have like a bug or something and the AI adds the pop-up every time, then that's definitely something to fix, but this is good. Okay, so now all kidding aside though, we don't appear to have any tutorial anymore. Oh, okay, I get it. So it looks like, and I'll check the chat in a minute, but it looks like B Little has decided, perhaps very wisely, that we don't really need a tutorial for the merge mechanic itself. But the part that is unique to this game is auto rickshaw unlocked, level 4+ vehicles can be deployed on the highway. That is something I would not have known. And highway equals 10x earnings, great. That's cool. So now you've taught me the thing that is unique to your game, but you've let me run with the knowledge that I probably already have from other merge games, which means the tutorial is only focusing on the new novel part of your game. That's very, very smart. So you've definitely made the onboarding in this game, like, it's gone from being kind of a pain to being totally painless. I think this is great. It'll be interesting to see if this affects player response. And I still love all the stuff I do love about the game. I think the visual is really cool. I love the art style. I love the color palette. It just has a really nice color kind of style. And I love this idea of merging down here and a kind of auto driving game up here. Really, really cool. So great job on the, great job on the tutorial cleanup. I think your game is a lot better for it. Okay, Evo Arena, Rise of Creatures from Apex 77756. A lot of evolution. That's like today's theme, is the evolution of things. Ooh, this is cool. I love the way this character moves. This is it's a great little blob character. It's really nicely animated. This is a great example, by the way, everybody, of how you don't have to have real animation, so to speak. This blobby character is like perfectly suited for just simple blobby movement. I love that. Oh, gotta press E, right? Nope. Okay, maybe not. I don't know. Ooh, I've leveled up my blob too. Wow. All right, this is really cool. The only thing I'm not loving is this background kind of sucks. I don't even just mean because it's all stretched out and blurry, although that's not great. But it's one of those backgrounds where there's too much going on and it's not actually real. Like there's not really a bridge there or really a river there because I can walk all over it. There's not really a treasure chest there, so that I don't like. But I love everything in the foreground. You've got this cool survival kind of thing where I'm just being chased by a horde of enemies, and I love the way my character looks when he levels up. I like all the levels of the character so far. The blob is like the highlight of this game. This really, really looks good. Also, Survivor games are they're like merge games. Everyone knows how to play them. We've all seen them 1,000 times, but they're all kind of fun. Like it's just a great genre. I think it's a good choice. Wait, that's funny. It said treasure chest, but I don't think I saw it. Anyway, I guess this is like some kind of currency. So I guess I'm getting this because I survived long enough, but look at me, I'm super jacked blob. This is hilarious. It kind of seems like I'm dying when those when those upgrade windows pop up. And I feel like the reason is because it's like, I don't get any celebratory indication that I survived long enough, and the screen shakes like I hit something. And so it happens so abruptly that with the shake, it makes me think something killed me. That might be something to think about. Maybe it's just me. I also notice it's a nitpick, but this version of the blob is flipped around, facing the wrong direction, but that's easy to fix. And I don't know, the super muscular blob guy is hilarious. That's just a funny idea. Okay, boss approaching in the style of a Survivor game. You get a boss after a while. Wow! Okay, this is amazing. This is so cool. Look at this. Look at the size of this guy. This is great. I really like this. This is a great boss. It really feels satisfying after surviving a few waves. Like, it really escalates the tension. This game is a cool art style. The background is the only thing that's bugging me, but everything else about this game looks great and has like a really cool style. The personality of this game feels very unique, very memorable.
He's saying press spacebar.
Press spacebar, okay. So yeah, I'm doing a long play test. I'm not even bothering to look at the chat. Oh, I can shoot. So this is what playtesters will help you discover. For whatever reason, for me, it was not obvious that I could shoot a weapon. And now that I've got one, I am hooked on it. So there you go. A little bit of free testing is background is annoying, and I had no idea that I could shoot. But everything I've understood about the game, I've really liked. It moves really well. The visuals are great. Now that I've got this weapon, it's really fun to use. So you're pretty much doing everything right. Maybe just a little bit more clarity on certain things. And the reason I say that is because, there's kind of two kinds of Survivor games. There's the weapons one where you just blow everything up, and then there's the evasion kind where you just avoid. And I think I just assumed, because he was like a cute little blob, I just assumed I wouldn't have weapons. Although he wasn't cute forever. He became like a super jacked steroid blob. So maybe that's on me for not figuring that out. Yeah, I'm into this. Like, look, I'm just playing this game. I'm not even playtesting anymore. I actually kind of want to beat this boss. So I'm guessing when it says perfect dodge, I'm guessing it's like I get close to something, but I don't hit it. So it like recognizes that I kind of like, I think that's what it is. It's like basically evading something, I think. I'm getting streaks and combos. That's cool. Oh, this boss is tough. Yep. I guess I didn't. Wait, did I make it or did I die? So that's the other thing. I feel like when I die or live, it's not super clear. But these are details. I think this game's great. I think it's really, really cool. It's exactly all this time. I wasn't aware of my abilities. Okay, that's a great game. I have some minor feedback, but I think just keep working on it. You're in really good shape. Nicely done. Okay, we got two more, and then I got a hard stop at 11:30. I got to run, but it's been another great office hours, guys. Smaller crowd, but great games. Really good stuff. This is another game from Mine's Fun game. Mine's Fun. I'm always struggling to say that. Elemental Blade, Dash, and Slash. Okay. Oh, do we have? Is this another Survivor game? Oh, wow. Look at this. Okay, so check this out. Okay, so Dash and Slash. This game lives up to the tagline. I've got this character, and then I tap. Anywhere I tap, he does like this anime-style bolt teleport. Like he just leaps to a new place, and you can use it as like an attack. It's got such a cool like anime ninja kind of vibe. This is really clever, and it really is satisfying. It makes me really want to play. You know what? Am I killing people or am I getting hit because I'm dying? But it looks like I'm killing them. I wonder if I should just go all the way through it. Like not even aim at the enemy, aim past it. Just do the kind of the ninja jump where I just dive through my opponent and then they fall apart 2 minutes after I dive through them because they were cut so precisely. I'm rambling a little bit, but that's what this game is doing to me. It's making me ramble. I am hooked on this game mechanic. This is such a cool idea. I've always said that if you can make the basic game mechanic fun all on its own, regardless of the larger game loop, you've got something really good in your hands. I think this might be an example of that. Like, I just want to keep doing this because it feels so good to be like a ninja that can just jump across the room and slash through everything. This is awesome. All right. In the interest of time, I'm going to move on. But you know what? I don't care. You don't need any more feedback from me. All the other stuff through details, you'll figure it out. Just keep giving me more of this ninja slash action. This is amazing. I love it. I'm sure there is a power up, and I did get it by accident, but who cares? I just want to hack and slash. Yes, it is off the charts aura. Great job, Mine's Fun game. I really, really like that. That was super original. Okay, we got one more. B-Little in full-on Erica mode is cranking out the games. But you know what? We're going to end this on a sad note. After all that ninja action, now we got to do math. So thanks, B-Little. I hope you're happy. Monsters are attacking. Solve the math problems and shoot the correct answer. This is actually cool, though. It is cool to see people explore the genres. We've got kind of an educational hook going on here. Let's check it out. Ooh, it's a first-person math game. This actually looks great, by the way. Look at this ground texture and the... Okay, line up that laser. That disappoints me because everything else looks so beautiful. But man, this looks really good. Okay, 1 + 1 is... Oh, this is clever. So I have to shoot at the correct answer. So 2 + 2 is not 9. So what happens if I shoot 9? Doesn't kill him, but 4 kills him. Okay, you know what? I gotta hand it to you, B-Little. You're making arithmetic pretty fun. So it's like 4 + 2. This is like the equivalent of like a headshot. You shoot the correct answer and it's like instant kill. This is a very, very clever game. And I kind of like the sort of like the Toy Story aliens, kind of. 5 + 3 is 8. Yeah, this would be a very fun way to learn math. It might make kind of like a violent, murderous mathematician, but, you know, life's about trade-offs, right? Yeah, this is a really clever idea. And you've already made what looks like a surprisingly good first-person shooter. So the fact that you added a little math game on top of that is a very clever twist, because you didn't need to do that. This could be a good game on its own. But I love the idea that you're learning little first-grade math lessons while mowing down colorful aliens. Very, very cool. You're right. Man, how about this? Monvi should be here tomorrow. So B-Little, please share this game again. I want to see Monvi play it. And we all have to agree as a group, if she is even slightly wrong about any questions, we just give her insane amounts of shit for it. All right, so that's the plan. We've all got our marching orders for tomorrow. I got to run, but guys, this has been awesome. These games are amazing. Plankton Fun, let me know how those wishes go. If you need any more help, I'm happy to work with you on that. But your game is very cool. They're all cool. So good job, guys. See you tomorrow. Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I've had that issue a lot too. Yeah. Um, yeah, so it's funny. The turning thing, like in other words, if the game maybe starts off in portrait vertical orientation but can be rotated to landscape, that's an interesting question. So I can give you one answer, which is everybody wants landscape. A lot of us internally want landscape. It's something we talk about a lot and think about a lot. I can almost guarantee you that it won't happen anytime super soon, just because it's going to complicate a lot of other things outside of the game, namely kind of how the whole UI of the site works. But your question about like game switching modes within the game, I actually think might be worth exploring a little bit. Let me get back to you on that. I don't have a great answer, but that's an interesting idea. So I'll pass that along. But yeah, we'd all like to be able to make games of different shapes. So it's one. I say a lot of things are on the roadmap because they are. We have a lot of features planned, but I can also tell you that's probably not going to be one of the sooner ones. So we agree with you, but I don't want anyone getting their hopes up because it's not going to be like next month or anything in all likelihood. But like I said, I'll pass along your slightly more nuanced idea of games that can change orientation inside the game. That might be more doable than it seems. So I'll try to have an update. Okay. Well, thanks everybody. See you tomorrow.